Well, from a big macro great reset with Lynette Zhang, we're going to bring it back to Australia. And it says it all in the name, Sunshine Gold in the Sunshine State of Queensland. Damien Keys is the Managing Director of Sunshine Gold, great pedigree. He's previously been with Black Cat Syndicate and Spectrum Metals, which both had a great results for shareholders. Damien, welcome to the Virtual Gold Conference. Good to see you.
Thanks, Kerry.
Let's get stuck into the Sunshine Gold story and why because you've only just listed. You're the new kid on the block, but with lots of news and lots going on. So let's tell us all the story.
Yeah, thank you. Sunshine Gold listed December 2011, mid-December 2011.
No, 2020 wasn't it? Last year.
2020, sorry.
2020. You're going to confuse my people. 2011? No, 2020.
20. I don't know where I got that from. Sorry, December 11, 2020. We listed. The usual disclosure. Just a quick overview of where we are from a corporate perspective. Currently trading at 6 cents. We relisted, came on market at 4. We've got 445 million shares on offer for a market cap today of about 26.7 million. And having listed in December, we've got a fair bit of cash behind us with 4.6 mil in the bank at the moment. The directors are currently have a fair bit of skin in the game and it's certainly a solid executive board and board of directors. We've got Anthony Torresan and Alec Gizmeris, and Paul Chapman and Les Davis from Silver Lake, and most recently Black Cat Syndicate. We are based in the Sunshine State, as the name implies. We've got 3 projects that we're actively working on at the moment. We've got the Triumph project, which is just south of Gladstone. It's a large intrusion-related system with an orogenic overprint under shallow alluvial cover. So it's a big system, big potential. We inherited quality geochemical and geophysical data sets with the project. And we've got about 138 square kilometres of tenure down there. And we're currently drilling on an advanced prospect called Big Hearts. Over the back of the range from Cairns in North Queensland, we've got the Hodgkinson Gold Project. It's a structurally complex project area that's been explored primarily for tungsten, owing to its proximity to the Mount Carbine tungsten mine. But we think it's got tremendous potential from a gold perspective. It's in a well-endowed gold environment with the Palmer River area producing over 1.3 million ounces in the day, and close proximity to the Mungana Red Dome systems and the Hodgkinson goldfield itself. So the area has produced about 2.5 million ounces in total, and our tenure has alluvial gold workings but no systematic gold exploration on it. And out in Western Queensland, we've got the Investigator Copper Project. It's a greenfields copper project, early stage, situated on the Mount Gordon fault zone, about 12 kilometres south of the Mount Gordon copper mine, which is being operated by Capricorn Copper. We've got plans for a large EM survey to refine some of the targets out there. That'll happen after the wet season. We might just zoom straight into Triumph and have a really quick look. We've commenced a 7,500 metre drilling program in November, late November last year. And we've already tested a very early stage target in the north called Bonneville, pretty much a reconnaissance program. And we've moved on to Bald Hill West. Bald Hill West has had some spectacular numbers in the past, 12 at 13.4 from 9 metres depth. So these systems are likely to be shallow and numerous. we've moved, the rig moved from there down to a prospect in the south called Superhans, where there was historic numbers such as 22 at 1.1, including some high grade elements to it. We're moving, I guess we're moving clockwise around the prospective tenure onto prospect at the moment. We're drilling as Big Hans. There's a hit there from surface pretty much, 17 at 4.3 grams. It's underexplored owing to some interesting topography, but challenges that we're prepared to overcome. And the rig will then move into the new constitution area where there's been historic numbers such as 10 at 26.8 at a relatively shallow depth. The area produced about 22,000 ounces pre-1910 and hasn't been systematically explored since.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, Damien. Has there been much exploration work done around here? I mean, you just mentioned 1910. That's kind of a long time ago. Not much work done around here since then?
No, the camp was previously owned by, picked up off Meadowbank, who've completed some amazing geochemical and geophysical work, but they were focusing their efforts further west towards Eidsvold, and we saw this as an opportunity to get in on a system that we thought had significant potential. We see it as a system that's going to be a sum of the parts, and we think that each of these little areas has potential to be form part of a bigger camp. Our first pass drilling was on the very west of Bald Hill West. Just before Christmas, we received some results, some encouraging results, including 9 at 1.8 from 26 metres. This year we've been drilling back into the guts of Bald Hill West, and like I said, we've moving clockwise around the system before we do some further infill drilling. The host rock is a large intrusion, so it's a large granite body, and it's been offset by a fault, the Norton Fault, and simply by sliding the two pieces back together across, by juxtaposing those two pieces of granite back together, we can see the scale potential of the system. So we have the cooler colours, and the oranges and yellows represent breaks in the magnetic signature, which is telling us about structure, and all our workings, historic workings, line up along those sort of breaks. So we think we've got about 5 kilometres of strike potential to this system, and it has anomalous drilling throughout at the moment. So we'll be testing that further by testing Bald Hill, Superhans, Big Hans, and new constitution systems.
Damien, is technology, given that this hasn't been looked at for a while, is technology a big driver in helping you decide where to drill at the moment? I mean, I'm looking at this magnetic, and it allows you to kind of understand the structure a little bit more.
Yeah, it certainly allows us to cut to the chase. We overlay on top of that other geophysical methods that, such as induced polarization data. It tells us about the metal endowment within the ground, or chargeable elements, so the sulfide amount within the ground. So we have inherited some fantastic data sets, and it's a case of integrating those data sets. So we're looking at how the geochemistry talks to the structural architecture, and that's where we see the opportunity, is in that integration. So we'll move up and have a look, just a very quick look at the planned activities up north at Hodgkinson. We've just completed an air mag survey in the Hodgkinson across the entirety of the tenure at 100 metres line space. It's as tight as we could get with the terrain that exists up there, and it's already provided a huge amount more information and context that we can put some of these previous results into. It's the wet season up north at the moment, so activity on ground is very challenging, very wet work. So we'll be back up there sometime in Q2, and we'll be up there doing some field mapping, some RC drilling. So we've already got previous owners, again, have collected some amazing data sets, mainly in the form of rock chip sampling and some very preliminary RC drilling. Again, shallow drilling. There's an area called Peninsula. We've been up there and mapped it on the ground. It's a nice big quartz breccia, so broken rock, was sampled to with samples going 8.7 grams per tonne gold and very elevated cobalt, and obviously some big copper numbers up there as well.
That's a huge copper number, isn't it?
Yeah, in context, it's quite easy to see copper at surface picking up in rocks. So all in context, but it's encouraging nonetheless. The gold numbers are very interesting up there. We'll move on to the Ivory Vein, which is a picture you can see adjacent. There's two hotspots on that ivory. One is where the unfortunately named Dung Vein intersects. And we've got numbers in that southern area that are nice and wide, 14 metres at 2.5 in a couple of different holes there. We've got a nice high-grade zone to the north as well, has numbers such as 4 at 26, sorry, in a broader zone of 8 at 13.
Damien, if I could just interrupt you for a moment and look, for those that do not understand, in the simplistic term, some of these results are telling you that you potentially could be onto something. Is that what this is telling you?
At these depths and thicknesses, it's not uncommon for companies to be mining 2 to 3 gram material at the moment. So when we're particularly encouraged when we're seeing some really substantial grades kicking around. Obviously, they're historic results, and we need to go in and validate those ourselves and see if we can extend the footprint of those results. But it's a great starting point for us. And yeah, obviously conduct the first meaningful drilling on the Dung Vein itself, where we've got really significant rock chip results. So yeah, I guess that's an amazingly quick overview of of what we're up to. But we've got 2 very exciting gold prospects. We're very bullish about the potential of both. I guess the acquisition drivers for us were potential for near surface high grade deposits, and certainly centred around areas that have shown historic production. Something with big system potential, areas that have been underexplored or really haven't had that level of tearing apart. Near to infrastructure and mining hub workforces, so labour nice and handy. And at Triumph, we feel like we've got the ability to quickly assess these bigger system targets with the data that exists. And out at Mount Isa, haven't touched on it here, but it's certainly an area that, you know, we're 12 kilometres to the south of the Mount Gordon copper mine, in the same structural environment with the same host rocks, and certainly big breccias on the ground and out there. Significantly, we're a North Queensland-based technical group, so we're operating in our own backyard, and in this COVID world, that's a very handy thing to have. And yeah, we're already active and into it. So that's...
Well, for a company that listed in mid-December, you're December the 11th, 2020.
21, yeah, 20, sorry. Yep.
20. You're certainly getting underway. So I've got a couple of questions for you. If we can go back to the, I'm sure people have taken this down now. Right, this is the slide I want to have a look at. So from an investor's point of view, somebody that's looking at this saying, well, I haven't heard of Sunshine Gold. It looks really interesting. First of all, what I say to everybody, good, I guess a good background. You know, when I look at your board, obviously you with a background with Black Cat and Spectrum, which both gave great returns for shareholders. You got Paul Chapman and Les Davis, both of whom I know, again, with very strong background in the sector. And you're well funded. So is Triumph your focus right now? What I'm looking for is what are the news flow and why should investors be looking at Sunshine Gold right now? Obviously, you know, if they'd invested, they're 50% up on their money already. But this is a long term because you're only just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. We've certainly hit the ground running with a view to having a consistent and constant news feed. We are highly active, so that news flow won't slow down. We've got the Triumph area is our key focus area at the moment, as discussed, because the wet season limits your time up north. So we've certainly, and we've had no downtime on with weather at Triumph. It's in the right neighbourhood. It's got Mount Rawdon to the south, in the same province, 2 million ounce position in its own right. Mount Morgan in the adjacent province. We sit on the boundary between the two, so we're in a pretty compelling part of the world. But yeah, certainly our Hodgkinson project is, it's an earlier stage project, but with amazing potential as well. So yeah, we think we're well and truly in the right neighbourhood. We're well funded, well supported, and committed to activity in the near term.
Damien, have you got, is it 1 or 2 rigs on Triumph at the moment? No, there's no rigs on the other ones at the moment. The focus is on Triumph. Is it 1 rig at the moment?
Yeah, it is 1 rig at the moment. So that 1 rig though is churning away. And in terms of access and whatnot, we've certainly got our 7,500 metre program well and truly mapped out. It's testing a lot of country. And we'll have an opinion on at least half a dozen projects by the time we finish this 7,500 metres.
A couple of last questions. How big is the in terms of land size? I think you said it earlier. What's the size of it?
I recall 138 square kilometres.
Okay.
So we've certainly got it. And the core of the project, that intrusion's about 15 kilometres. The geochemical data that we've just reinterpreted is showing us an a mineralisation model that opens up the whole belt. So we believe it's got a significant orogenic overprint. So there's a lot of life beyond the intrusion itself that hasn't been touched at all. But for starters, our core focus is on that, on the delineated projects at the moment.
So from an investor's point of view, there's plenty of news flow coming up in the near future. Would you, and I guess some assay results coming out in this quarter or next quarter?
Oh no, there'll certainly be assay results coming out in the next couple of weeks. As the Bald Hill data flows in, the Super Hans samples have hit the lab, so they're a matter of weeks away as well. So as we get the results to hand, they'll be communicated straight through to market as well.
Well, Damien Keys, you've done it before with a couple of very good companies that you've worked with, both Spectrum and Black Cat. So I wish you all the best with Sunshine Gold, and we will see you later today. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us at the Virtual Gold Conference.
Thanks for the opportunity to talk.